I wanted to be able to introduce you to what's known as the ecologic bottle. What I don't understand here is the attraction to the ecologic bottle for a couple different reasons. Number one, they're promoting this. Seventh generation was one of the first. Seventh generation is now owned by Unilever. They were really one of the first to jump on this eco bottle. But let me show you the bottle itself if you can. Let me increase my size once again. So you've got this outer paper shell, and on the inside you've got a plastic bottle. So what I don't understand is what's the attraction to this versus a plastic bottle? I mean, you're now using two different types, two different substrates. Yes, you can break this apart and recycle them, but you can also just recycle a plastic bottle. Paper in and of itself, if it's coated, you can't use paper in this situation because if it's coated, that's no longer recyclable. But the impression or the trying to think of the right word, the inclination that paper is better than plastic is really skewed. I'll sell you whatever you want. You want paper, I'll sell you paper. If you want plastic, we'll sell you plastic. It's so amazing to me how many companies, big companies and small companies, have fallen victim to this paper is better than plastic. And I'm going to read off a couple of pieces of data that's actually readily available here. And a ULS report comparing plastic and paper concludes plastic generates 39% less greenhouse gas emissions. That's what a lot of people will say. Oh, paper has less greenhouse gas emissions, so paper's better. No, it's not. Plastic is 39% less than uncomposted paper and 68% less greenhouse gas emissions than compostable paper is. Okay. The other thing is plastic bags consume or require 6% of the water needed to make paper bags. That means it takes 1,004 gallons of water to produce 1,000 paper bags and 58 gallons of water to produce 1,500 plastic bags. Now, I know it's a bottle and I know but you know what? Plastic and paper, the whole point of this is we've got to start thinking our way through this. I don't understand how people are falling victim to paper's better than plastic or whatever, because it's just not true. There's a lot of misinformation out there where people are pushing and saying that paper is the way to go and paper this, paper that. I recently posted a couple of articles, on Delta, and even Alaska Airlines have been promoting that they're banning all single-use cups on their planes. Now, let's think about this. Delta or Alaska, they're not looking at the data of what a paper cup cannot hold liquid unless it's coated. If the paper is coated, it is no longer recyclable. End of story. Compared to this plastic cup in an airline that is 100% recyclable. By the way, how many times have we all been on airplanes and watched them go up and down the aisles before we land and collect all the paper, all the garbage? It's so easy for them to collect plastic and collect paper, collect plastic, whatever. This is a very closed loop setup for an airline to be able to take those cups or plastic, or whatever they used, or bottles or whatever, and 100% recycle. 100% recycle these things is far and away the best we can do for the environment right now versus there's no magic formula. Recycling is the best way to go. You can recycle it over and over and over and over again. Meanwhile, they're patting, meaning Delta, Alaska, Pepsi, and some of these other bigger brands are patting each other on the back saying, well, look what we're doing. We're forcing our chips, or we're going to now use paper cups. Wait a minute. I just read off the information of how many thousands of gallons it takes to create 1,000 paper bags and 58 gallons of water to create 1,500 bags. I mean, it's mind blowing the difference. And yet we continue down this road. Why are we're like Pavlov's dog, people. Paper is not necessarily the answer and all be all, especially when it cannot be easily recycled or easily break down. You can go to a landfill, newspaper, uncoated newspaper that literally has been in a landfill for 40 years can be dug back up and read. I mean, come on. The idea behind this is not necessarily for you to think I'm nuts. I'm not. What I am trying to do is encourage all of us to start thinking for ourselves. Just because somebody tells you that paper is better or whatever, do your own research. Look for the data. I just did the data myself. Independently, you can go online and find this information out from a slew of other. This isn't me making this up. My point is look at the data yourself. And if you're a business owner or if you're in the space, it's certainly a game changer if you're able to kind of impress upon not just your sales reps, but your customers to understand the big picture here. Understand that when you're talking about paper and plastic or added SKUs, I mean, look, here's the thing. A sustainable example is using less material. How is this being promoted as using less material? We've made twice the material. How is this a sustainable option? It isn't. Use a plastic bottle if you want, or somehow coat this dumb thing. It's going to leak. But guys, you gotta think for yourselves and look at the data when it comes to these things. Don't fall prey to the nonsense and the babble that's being thrown out there by companies that are spending big money to convince us that paper is better than plastic because it isn't. There you go. You have my rant. Look for yourself, do your own research. By all means, look to what other like I said, do your own research, but also pay attention to what is happening in and around the environment, in and around what's the best way to help our environment to reduce how much packaging is used, to reduce how much goes to a landfill, to reduce how much packaging is used to protect the particular product. Less, less, less. That's the important thing to understand and keep in mind. Less is a sustainable option. Less, using more efficient packaging, whatever that may be, ultimately is a more sustainable approach. I hope this is helpful. Just encouraging everybody out there, we've got to think for ourselves and pay attention. We do not have to follow what everybody is saying. Think for ourselves. Hi, everyone. It's David Marinak. I hope you enjoyed that episode. If you want to see more, here's another video that you can check out, and I hope you enjoy it. Thanks.